Hey, welcome back to my new video. This is Easy Tutorials, and for those of you who are the first time in this channel, please consider subscribing. Today we'll be creating this. Before we start, I'd like to invite you to support me on Patreon. You can also get access to all my premium content. In this tutorial we'll be using the Easy Tools script, which is free to download, so let's start. Import the files you need into After Effects. You can download the project files and the template separately. This way you will be able to create this slideshow animation even if you don't want to download my template. You can find both links in the description. Create a new composition, and name it, Minimal Slideshow. I'm using a full HD 1080 pixels preset, with 30 frames per second, and 26 seconds long, but the duration depends on how many slides you want your slideshow to have. Create 3 folders. First one, name it, Slides. The second one, Images. And the third one, Texts. Select the Slides folder, and create a new comp. Name it, Slide 1. And make it 6 seconds long. Select the Images folder, and create a new comp. Name it, Image 1, and use the same settings as before. And finally, select the Texts folder, and create a new comp which should be named, Text 1. Open the Image 1 composition. And bring the first image into it. Enter the Slide 1 composition. And bring the Image 1 comp into it. Select the Rectangle tool. Set the fill to solid color, don't worry about the color. And the stroke to none. Draw a shape like this. Click on Rectangle 1, Rectangle Path 1. Unlink the size values. And change them to 380 and 1200. Move the anchor point in the center. Align the shape in the middle of your composition. Click on Transform Rectangle 1. Create a keyframe on scale. Unlink the values, and change them to 0 and 125%. Create a keyframe on rotation, and change the angle value to -30 degrees. Select the shape layer, and click here to reveal only its properties with keyframes. Move to 1 second and 10 frames. And change the scale values to 450 and 230%. And the rotation angle to 90 degrees. Move to 3 seconds and 10 frames. And create hold keyframes on scale and rotation. Then, move to 5 seconds. And change the scale values to 0 and 125%. And the angle to 210 degrees. Select only the scale keyframes, and ease them. Until now, we got this animation. Change the track matte of the Image 1 layer to Alpha Matte. Select the image layer. Click on Layer, Layer Styles, Drop Shadow. Open the Drop Shadow settings. Move to the first frame. Create a keyframe on opacity, and change its value to 0%. Move 15 frames forward, and change the value to 50%. Change the distance to 0. The spread to 15%. And the size to 80. Click again on Layer, Layer Styles, and select Stroke. Change the color to white. And the stroke position to inside. Select both layers, and duplicate them. Move to 5 frames. And change the start time of the shape layer to. Select the top 2 layers, and duplicate them again. Move to 10 frames, and change the start time of the top layer. Reveal its keyframes. Place your playhead at the last keyframe. Split the layer, and delete the newly created one. Move to 4 seconds and 15 frames. Select the first 2 shape layers. Split them, and delete the newly generated layers. Select the bottom image layer, and apply the tint effect on it. Open its scale properties, and change the values to 135%. Select the second image layer. Open its scale properties, and change the values to 110%. And finally, select the third image layer. Open its scale properties. Move to the first frame, and create a keyframe on scale. Then move to the last frame, and change the scale's values to 115%. Our slide animation looks like this. Open the Text 1 layer. Click here, and activate the proportional grid. Select the pen tool. Change the fill to none. The stroke to solid color, width 8 pixels width. And draw a path like this. Deactivate the proportional grid. Open the Shape Layers options. Click Add, Trim Paths. Open the Trim Paths 1 menu. Change the end value to 0. Create a keyframe here. Move to 2 seconds, and change the end value to 100%. Move to 4 seconds, and create a keyframe on start. Then move to the last frame, and change the start value to 100%. Select these 2 keyframes, and ease them. Select the horizontal type tool, and start typing your first text. I'm using the Source Sans Pro font family. Place your text like this. And align it horizontally in the middle of your comp. Open the text options. Click on Animate, and select Opacity. Set the opacity to 0%. Toggle down the range selector 1. Move to the first frame. And create a keyframe on start. Move to 1 second and 15 frames, and change the start value to 100%. Click on Advanced. And switch on the Randomize Order. Click again on Animate, and select Opacity. Set the opacity to 0%. Toggle down the range selector 1. Move to 4 seconds and 15 frames. Create a keyframe on offset, and change its value to -100. Move to 5 seconds and 20 frames. And change the offset value to 0. Duplicate the text layer. Drag it down like this. Center it horizontally in the middle. Then double-click on it, and change the text with your second text. Now, think on how many slides do you need. Select the slide 1 comp from here, and duplicate it. In this case, I will need 6 slides. For 6 slides, you will need 6 image compositions. Also, for every 2 slides, you will need a new text composition, which in our case means that we'll need 3 text comps. Now, we have to change the files from each newly created composition, with the corresponding files. It will be easy, follow my steps. Open the Image 2 composition. Select the image. Hold the Alt button pressed. And drag the corresponding image over it, in this case the image 2. Repeat the action with all other 4 image compositions. Now, open the Slide 2 composition. Select the 3 image layers. Hold down the Alt button, and drag the corresponding image composition over any of them, in this case the image 2 comp. Repeat the action with all other 4 slide compositions. Open the Text 2 composition, and replace the text layers with new texts. Do the same with the Text 3 composition. Great, now let's put together our slideshow. Select the minimal slideshow composition. Create a new solid, and name it Background. Apply the gradient ramp effect to it. Open the effect controls, and change this value to 540. This one to 3000. The ramp scatter to 30. Switch ramp shape to radial ramp. And click on Swap Colors. Bring all your slide composition here. Put them in the right order. Then, offset each one of them 4 seconds like this. Bring the Text 1 comp into the minimal slideshow composition. Search for drop shadow, and apply it to your layer. Change the distance and the softness values to 25. Duplicate the Text 1 layer. Open the top layer scale options. And change the values to 160%. Then, open the opacity, and change its value to 20%. Select both text compositions, and duplicate them. Bring the newly created on top. Move to 8 seconds, and make them start from here. Hold down the Alt button, and drag the text to composition over any of them. Repeat the action one more time. Only this time, make the newly created comps to start on 16 seconds. And change them with the text 3 composition. Create a new solid layer, and name it, Light Leaks. Search for the fractal noise effect, and apply it. Change the noise type to spline. The contrast to 175. And the brightness to -52. Open Transform. And change the scale to 1480. Change the complexity to 1. Alt-click on the evolution stopwatch, and write this expression. Time multiplied by 90. Search for hue and saturation, and apply it to your layer. Check the Colorize box. Alt-click on the Colorize Hue stopwatch, and write this expression. Wiggle. Open bracket, 4, 90, close bracket. Change the Colorize saturation to 46. Change the Light Leaks blending mode to screen. Bring the particle file into your composition. Duplicate it. And overlap it 1 second. Repeat this action as many times as you need, if you are making longer slideshows. Create a new adjustment layer. Rename it, Blur. Select the ellipse tool, then double-click it, to create a mask on your blur layer. Select the inverted box. Open Mask 1, change mask feather to 180 pixels. Mask opacity to 70%. And mask expansion to 60 pixels. Apply the fast blur effect on this layer. Change the blurriness to 40. And select the repeat edge pixels. Bring the sound effect into your composition, and we are done. Let's preview our slideshow animation. Wow, amazing! I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to create a minimal slideshow in After Effects. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and comment. It would be great to know your opinions on my tutorials. Also, you can make requests for new tutorials on interesting effects or animations that you would like to learn. See you soon.